Alright, looks like a beautiful morning here at Indian-Celina Lake. There's no way I can get on at Indian Lake. Even Celina Lake is starting to get a little bit challenging because if you hear that noise, it's the old rubber boots. The ramp where it goes, I'm actually starting to drop off the concrete. They have gravel. It drops down pretty far, and so the Jeep, I really got to give it some gas to get it back out of there. Say hello to the Rick and Ball house. It's going to warm back up. It's supposed to be 86 today. Kind of like those cooler temperatures we've had lately in the 70s, but the way it goes. Fall is here, and you got to do what you got to do. All right, let's get the Selvin out on the water and see if we can't catch some bass. So I've got kind of a mystery going on here. Last night I slept, it got kind of cool, about 58 degrees. I went ahead and kept my socks on last night. A lot of times I'll take them off. I left my socks on, and I woke up this morning and put my shoes on and stuff, and I'm walking around getting ready to go, and my feet felt uncomfortable. And I'm thinking, man, my socks feel awful itchy. Well, woke up this morning, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell this, but I've got chigger bites. I've got chigger bites right in here. And on this one right here, I've got chigger bites all over this guy. And some right up here on my ankle. That doesn't make any sense. I keep everything the same. I keep all my stuff stored in the Jeep Liberty. Nothing's really changed that I can think of. I did put this rug inside the tent for the first time. And so I'm thinking maybe that rug has got some chiggers or something in it, because that's the only thing that would be different than what I've always done before. Kind of a mystery, but kind of uncomfortable, so I'm definitely not going to wear any shoes today and just kind of let the air get to those and try to heal. Little hitchhiker. Hello, buddy. Hello, little buddy. That's what you call jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. Well, my little buddy who jumped in the water, I ended up getting him out with a fishing pole. I put him on the top here, thinking that was the end of him. And he's hanging in there. I think he's hurt. Probably happy he didn't get eaten by a big bass. Right, buddy? I've got a good friend of mine. He's passed away now. His name was Lane Anderson. And in some of my videos, you'll hear me talk about Lane. He was an old school, old timer, and he was the real deal when it come to the outdoors. I mean, this guy was amazing what he did his whole life. But I remember one time, he was well in his 80s, and I went over there to see him, and he showed me. He said, "Look at this." He goes, "Man, I'm in pain." Had these slippers on. He took them off. My God, he had 200 bites at least on each foot, chigger bites. And he said he was so miserable he couldn't sleep, and he went to the hospital and they gave him something to try to get him to sleep, but he said he was just in major pain. What happened was he'd went hunting, both hunting boots kind of leaked, and he got into a marshy area, and that water leaked in there, and I guess with the water kind of leaking in, I guess it had chiggers in it, and the chiggers leaked in too and just ate his feet alive. So yeah, you got to watch it, because man, those things are bad. I never sit around on the grass, and I never do anything like that, because if you've had a bunch of chigger bites, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's some mornings, like we all know, we wake up and sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't, but I tell you what, this morning, man, I feel wonderful. I'm hoping I'm going to get out there and I'm going to introduce myself to a few of these big bass in this lake today. But if I don't, hey, I've already won, right? I've already had a good day, because I feel good this morning, and this is just a great time to be out. Love fishing, love Celina Lake, loving life. All the lures and stuff that I'm learning to use and catching these bass with. This one right here, I just have not gotten comfortable with. This buzzbait right here. And supposedly this black one with a black spinner on it and stuff is really good. If the water's real muddy or low vis, you can use a white one, which I have in my tackle box. But it's my understanding that these just work so well, but I just can't get myself. I throw it a few times and it just like it makes so much commotion and stuff. I don't know. I don't have any confidence in it. So maybe I need to keep throwing it, and maybe eventually I'm going to catch a big bass with it, and then I'll have some confidence in it. But I don't know, like right here, this cove that I'm setting up now, and I'm getting all my fishing stuff ready and start throwing a line pretty soon. I don't want to throw this because it just seems like it made so much commotion. Like as soon as I throw it out there, you know, all the fish are going to be saying, what the heck is that? And if they bite it, that'd be great, but if not, it seems like it's going to scare all of them. So I don't know. I don't have any confidence in it. If you don't have confidence in a fishing lure, you just can't fish it. No matter what, it seems like it'll never catch fish for. So I'm going to put it on the back burner for right now. I've got a few other things that I want to try, and then maybe I'll go back to it later. Or if I'm here late enough this evening, you know, that's supposed to be a real good early morning or late evening buzzbait too, so maybe I'll try it. All right, also on the lineup today will be this big old spinnerbait. Now, I caught quite a few fish on this earlier, maybe early summer, and then I kind of started trying other things and got away from this. You know, I'm going to go ahead and throw this again because now that it's fall, apparently the fish start to get more aggressive and they'll bite a little bit bigger of a bait like this, so I'm going to keep this. I'm definitely going to throw this today. Yeah, if you follow my channel, it's funny to me to see how if you go back, you know, the beginning of summer into the springtime, the first time I went out and started to fish, you know, my techniques have changed drastically from them because the more I learn, the more I realize what I was doing wrong, the more I realize if I want to catch some big bass, there's a science to it. You got to pay attention to it. Just for instance, right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7 rods rigged up. Now they're old rods. They're ones that rod and reels are the ones I've had in my shop for 20, 30 years probably. I'm going to improve those as I go through and get some better reels and rods to throw. But what I found out is when you have this many, you rig up what you think might work, and that way it's so much easier to throw something else instead of retying it. Because when you got to retie, it's kind of an incentive not to do it. So anyways, it's kind of cool to see the evolution of LAF Film Fest fishing show, even though I'm not a fishing show. Still, it's good entertainment, kind of. All right, the green pumpkin has come through again. The green pumpkin has come through again. There we go. First bass of the day. Pretty nice one right there. Okay, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Hey, there we go. All right, so there's the first fish in the boat. Nice one. Good start to the day. That was a kind of a scare for me. That big old boy, when I put him back in the water, it hooked him pretty deep down in his throat, and he was bleeding pretty good. Put him back in the water, and he wouldn't go down. He just was floating on the water, and I thought, oh, man. So I took my net. I was able to keep pushing him down. He'd come back up, push him down, and eventually it's like he kind of woke up, and then eventually he shot down to the bottom. I hope he's going to be okay. It's just one of those deals, kind of the risk of fishing. Sometimes stuff like that will happen. First fish in the boat. Oh, nope, here he is. He come back. Well, I definitely feel bad about that bass. Couldn't get him to come back alive and swim on down to the bottom. You know, I hooked him very, very deep. I tried a little bit to get it out. I couldn't. I understand that sometimes when they're hooked deep like that, it's better just to cut the hook off and just leave them, and their body will naturally kind of dissolve that hook eventually, and as long as they can survive that first 10-15 minutes or whatever, they're going to be okay. So that's what I ended up doing. Put him in the water. He kind of shot down. I thought he was good. I floated back up, and so I messed around with him for a little bit on the net, pushing him back down. Finally he went on down. I thought, oh, that's great. Well, when I'm on the video right there, all of a sudden I heard a splash. I look over and there he is right next to the boat again. He kind of came back for more help, I think. So I went ahead and messed with him for a little while longer. I ended up just reaching down there, pulling him back out of the water, taking some long pliers kind of like this right here, and I was able to go down there, and finally I was able to kind of work that hook and unhook it. He wasn't bleeding at all, so I thought, okay, well, that's a good thing. So then I put him back down in the water. He wouldn't go. He just wouldn't go. He, like you do a trout, back and forth, get his gills with water in it. Eventually he went ahead and he shot down again. I thought, well, this is good, but I could see him. He went only maybe 10 feet down and came back up again. And now he's a floater. It's weird. I don't know why that killed him like that. Anyways, it's just one of those struggles in fishing. You know, I want to catch and release and leave these fish out here for other folks to catch and let them get bigger. But every once in a while you have an accident like that. You know, what's kind of funny about that is I see him over there floating. He's kind of like floating toward the shore. But, you know, one way to look at that is that'll be an excellent meal for either one of these eagles that hang out, osprey, if he floats over the shore, possum, raccoon. There's a lot of birds around here that eat fish, so that'll be a good meal for somebody. So maybe it was his time to go. Now somebody's going to get a good lunch, good breakfast or lunch coming up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's a couple fishermen out here, older gentlemen. And the friendship and memories go on. Excellent. And, you know, they're out here and they're constantly laughing and having fun. I'm not sure if they're catching any fish or not. I would think that they probably would be, but just always in a real good mood. So I said something to them. I said, hey. They both looked at me when they were passing by, and I said, you guys are having way too much fun out here. Oh, man, they laughed. This one guy says, yeah. He said, we've been doing that since we were 11 years old. You know, that's awesome to have a lifetime friend like that, you know, that you got all those memories through all the years and can talk about them anytime you want. So good luck, guys. I hope you do well out here. I've just had 2 monster hits where the fish was on the line and both of them got off. Blue sapphire. I've got the hook set on the side, so it should be hooking them. I'm not sure what's going on. 2 of them in a row got off. Need another fish in the boat. I've heard a lot of noises in the woods last night. Cracking, sticks cracking, and just force noises, basically, is what it is. You know, things walking around, probably deer. I remember watching a movie one time. The guy was talking about how to make sure you never get ambushed and how you operate as far as security goes. And he said in a city, there's always a reflection. So there's all kind of noises going on in the city, and sometimes it all gets drowned out, but there's always a reflection. Car window, shop window, always a reflection going on. He said in the forest, there's always a sound. A lot of things will blend in. Your eyes will blend in. The woods all looks the same, but there's always a sound, so you can zero in on that sound. And the way the movie went is the guy he was telling this to said, well, what about the desert? The guy hesitated a minute and goes, you don't want to be in the desert. Yeah. All right. Another fish in the boat. Fish in the boat. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Another fish in the boat. Fish in the boat. Bass in the boat. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. All right. I've been getting a lot of hits on this blue sapphire right here. All right. The little blue sapphire right there. And a little bass. Now he's a little bass. He's probably a junior. But I appreciate it, buddy. All right. You have a good day. Thank you very much. That's 2 fish in the boat. There's another jet. Oh, look. Buzzard, too. Oh, that'll be a cool shot. I'll see if I can't blow that up. I just got another monster hit. There must be structure right there underneath there, or the bass are pooling right there. Look what he did to my hook. But it just wasn't enough to tag him. I think that blue sapphire is gone. I think I'm going to get me another creature. This is the product I'm using. It's a Zoom, and it's called the Super Salt Plus Ultra Vibe Speed Crawl. And it's got this salt impregnated in it. It's kind of weird to me. I can't figure out why green pumpkin would hit, and then now all of a sudden the blue sapphire's hitting. You know, maybe the green pumpkin would still be hitting. I don't know. It's kind of fishing's hard to figure out when it comes to that. And that's why Randy Blockett calls it the hardest sport in the world, because there's no rhyme or reason sometimes. It just happens the way it happens. Wind's picking up pretty good. Yeah, as the seasons change, the one thing's for sure, more wind. It's the driving force to bring fall in, to drive fall out. And old man winter, yep, he's a-coming. That really bothered me, that one this morning. You know, why stuff happens, I don't know. People might think that's a little weird to be caring about a fish like that, but you know, there are species down here. That's what I'm learning, is that, you know, there's not an infinite number of those fish down here. The more this fishing technology gets better and better, the more they're being caught. I kind of want to do my part to try to save them, sustain, so they can go on and have more babies. And, you know, generations from now, people can come to Celina Lake and still fish, you know. My grandkids or my grandkids' grandkids will be able to come here and still have some big bass in here to catch. They're not all caught. Yeah, that last bass I landed it on this little fluger right here. Found this in my shop. It's like a little mini closed face reel. I did put some new line on there. I put 10-pound Seaguard Omega Professional Graphite Zebco rod on there. What's funny is how long it took to get it in, man. I was like, "Grr." You know, those gears make a difference. Albu Garcia bait caster, that's the best way to catch them. Man, I can burn them in here pretty fast. You know, I'm just letting that bait go down, go down, go down. I just watch the line, and whenever the line becomes slack, the line will go down and just become real slack. And then as soon as that happens, I just pull on it. And so that little creature went down and touched the bottom, and then I pull it off the bottom, let it down, pull it off the bottom, and just continue to do that. So you got to be kind of patient when you fish a creature like this. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do this afternoon and this evening. It's so convenient. I've got my camp all set up. So all I have to do is go back, park the Selvin, and go to sleep if I want to. I do have obligations tomorrow at lunchtime, so I could camp tonight. I won't fish tomorrow. I don't like doing things when I'm on a deadline. That bothers me. I'd rather have plenty enough time or just don't do them at all. Little Canadian bacon sandwich there. Yum. On keto bread. Good. I'm trying to figure something out, and I kind of wonder if this theory might be correct. You know, I've talked about I haven't seen one monarch this year. You know, the orange, beautiful, large monarchs that used to be everywhere. Of course, they're thinning down as years go by, but I haven't seen any, zero. Since I've been on this trip, one flew by me as I was fishing. Now, I think maybe my dash cam caught it. I tried to save it. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know. But that's the first one that I've seen. So I'm sitting here, and just now another one went by. Went right up into the woods. That's encouraging. But this is what it's telling me. Most of the monarchs around this area did not stop in this area. maybe they all went north. Maybe it's getting so warm, it's just getting steadily warmer all the time. Maybe they all went north, and now what I'm seeing is they're starting their migration down to South America again. This is the leading edge of them coming by, the first few that are on the way, and then as time goes on, maybe I'll see more. So that's interesting. Maybe that could be, I don't know. But that's 2 now I've seen, and that's the only ones I've seen this entire summer. And now we're into fall. I waved at him. Maybe he's putting on a little show for me. Oh, for anybody that's wondering what the saying on my shirt is, don't live life alone. This comes from my daughter and my son-in-law, Andrea and Shay. They actually have a church up in northern Michigan, up around the Detroit area, Flint, kind of that whole area right there. They have a really successful church. Here's one of their shirts right here. Grumlaw is the name of their church. Grumlaw.com. Check them out. Well, I tell you what, it's a good organization. It's a really good church, and it could really help you out if you're looking for a place to worship and find out who Jesus really is. Grumlaw.com. Go check them out. Has a pretty good day fishing. Caught 2 nice bass. Got probably at least another dozen pretty good hits. Sometime right around lunchtime, it just seems like it just goes flat. And I don't know if maybe I lose concentration. It's just the way the fishing is. I'm not sure. I'm happy with that day. I think it turned out pretty good. It's time to go ahead and load up the Selvin, head back to camp, and at that point right there, figure out what I want to do. Okay, it's a magical time. Less than 15 minutes ago, it was totally quiet. Now I start to hear some frogs and crickets. They'll get loud too. Hoosier National Forest. Southern Indiana. It's right at 2 a.m. Seems like the animals get active about this time. I've got coyotes out there, and I've got owls out there. a few owls. There's about 3 of them out there right now. I wonder if the owls do scare the coyotes. I'm thinking those owls probably scare the raccoons and the skunks and stuff, though. Because they'll come down and have a early morning snack right away. This is my little protection I made. One time when I was camping up here, I hang it in the tent. Every time I'm here, it keeps evil spirits away. Had a little visitor last night. I'll show you who it is. Hello, mister. Sorry to wake you up in the morning, but I gotta go. Yeah, you'll notice that when you're camping, there's all kind of critters that will be attracted to your tent. That'll get up underneath the rain fly and spend the night, and then in the morning, they're gone. This is a Gazelle T4. I highly suggest you get you one if you're looking for a good tent. Probably run you somewhere between $300 and $400. They make them in green and they make them in orange. Man, so nice to set up, so nice to take down. Always remember, put your ground cloth down. It'll save the bottom of your tent. For the Gazelle, in certain situations, like here in the Hoosier National Forest, the ground is pretty hard, especially because we haven't had rain now for a while. So I went ahead and picked me up some extra stakes. Got these at Menards, $1 a piece. They work great. Now once I get up to Lake Superior, I won't use these. These won't hold in the sand near as well as a wider stake. So it's always important to have a variety of stakes for the ground that you're staking in. know, when I was putting my rubber boots in just then, it made me think of something. Yesterday on the film, I showed you my feet when I woke up in the morning. Man, I had bites all over my feet. Well, I got to thinking about that. Two possibilities. Whenever I loaded this Selvin up yesterday, I put those rubber boots in, I got in the water, and of course I had to get in a little bit deeper water, and it flooded my boots. So by the time I walked up to the Jeep Liberty, my boots were full, so I dumped them out, put those boots back on, and wore them for about another 30-40 minutes until I changed in some drier shoes. Is it possible something's in that lake, and the fact that I kept those boots on that long and they were wet, something in that water bit me like that? It's possible. Then the other thing is the day before, I actually on my property cut down an oak tree. You know, I wear my steel-toe boots and everything running my chainsaws, but at the very end, just cleaning up, I went and put a pair of shorts on and some flip-flops, and it's possible I could have got into maybe a little bit of poison or got into some chiggers there too, and they bit me. I just didn't realize it till yesterday evening when they started bothering me. I don't know. In the fall, chiggers are always horrible. You can ask any hunter if they go out and if their feet get wet or they go out in the tall, wet grass, if they're not careful, they'll get chiggers all over them. It's like miserable. I think that'll conclude the trip for this time. I appreciate you coming along. That's LAF Space Film Fest, capital LAF Space Film Fest. Hey, if you would, hammer down that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Hey, helps me to come places like this. Hopefully, if you've never fished for these big bass before, I'm kind of showing you some things. Even if you're not a fisherman or fisherwoman, hey, you might just enjoy the serenity of Celina Lake, the serenity of the National Forest. I try to always put things like that on film and let you see them. I'm going to go ahead and finish up a few things. It may be 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I get back out. I think one of my trips coming up is Lake Superior, South Shore. Really looking forward to that. I don't care what the weather is. It could be 30 degrees. I don't care. I just want to get up there and I want to hike at 12 Mile Beach. I want to see if my friend, the big leaning tree that's way out over Superior, I want to see if it's still standing. Hope it is. Probably been there for a lot of years. Hopefully it'll be there for a lot more. But I want to eat lunch underneath that tree. Here's a nice feature coming up with the Hoosier National Forest here at North Face, and I'm sure they have the same at South Slope Campgrounds, is they have a nice dumpster for you to get rid of your trash in when you're done with your camping trip. You know, always bag it up, make sure everything is all bagged up, tied up, but you can throw it in there, you can ensure that the critters aren't going to get to it, and every Tuesday night here they come, right around midnight, to dump it. It's kind of strange, boy. It wakes me up every time, and that garbage truck makes a lot of weird noises. But yeah, here you go. Yep, throw it on in there. Shut the lid. Got a place for your cans. There you are. All right. Me like the Selvin is ready to go. 2005 Jeep Liberty is ready to haul it home. Yeah, still not catching a ton of bass, but I tell you what, I just feel like my horizon on the bass hunting experience has just broadened so wide. I've learned so much here in 2023, the summer of 2023, into the fall now. I'll talk to you later. Look here, there's some bass hunters right there. There they go after the bass. Woo! Almost makes me want to turn right instead of left right here. Go after them. Go after those big bass. Well, obligations, you know. Hey, I don't know. That's why you never want to make bass hunting a full-time job, because it would get to be probably not near as exciting as when you can do it on your part-time and, you know, and have fun doing it. That's very important. There's been several things in my life, hiking, backpacking, stuff like that. I actually made it a career, ran a big store, and then at one point I went over to Gander Mountain, worked for them in that department. And it's like, you know, it kind of spoils it a little bit, because when you're just doing it out here like I'm doing it now, it's a lot of fun. But when you get out there and you start working it and selling it and trying to push the product, not near as good. Okay. Jeep Liberty, you ready? Selvin, you ready? They say yes. Get on down that lonesome highway, Interstate 64. I'll be talking to you later. You have a great day. Beautiful Hoosier National Forest. Pretty spectacular. When I was leaving the forest, I saw a hearse go by, and I wondered, did that person have a good life? Did they go fishing and travel around this beautiful world? I hope they did what they liked. I hope they did what they liked. Or when the time is here for us to take the long